up team, welcome to the video, and in today's video you are going to be learning my top 10 tips if you are new to the gym. If you follow these 10 tips, it's going to put you on the right path to maximising your training and getting the most out of your training so you can achieve the goals you want to as quick as possible. But as you know, it does take time to get results in the gym, so you're just going to have to put the effort in by just being consistent. To explain this workout that you're seeing, this is the Strength in Depth Qualifier 3 workout that I did back last year, earlier on this year, and 100 cal on the row, 80 wall ball shots with 9 kilo wall ball, 60 box jump overs with a step down, 40 burpees over the bar, and then 20 overhead squats at, I believe it was 70 or 75 kilos. And then you go back to the beginning if you have time in the AMRAP. It's a 16-minute time cap, and I think managed to get to about 13, 14 or even 15 repetitions. And then I qualified for Strength in Depth RX, and I came 13th out of the whole thing. And that was actually quite a big jump because I was about 32nd in qualifying, and then came 13th in the real thing, and did get some top 4 and 3 finishes, I think, in some events. Anyway, moving on. The first tip out of my top 10 is make sure you focus on compound movements when you're in the gym. Compound movements being movements that require multiple muscle groups. I have talked about this before in previous videos, but I'm going to go into a bit more depth with this. Multiple muscle groups to complete the movement. So that is like a barbell back squat, barbell bench press, a deadlift that you use a barbell for as well. But it's not always a barbell. You can use dumbbells for a bench press. It can be a dumbbell walking lunge. Generally, free weighted movements are compound movements. So just weights exercises that don't require machines because you have to use a lot of stabilizing muscles. And if you base your training around compound movements, in my opinion, you will see results quicker than somebody who's literally just doing isolation movements. And I'm not knocking isolation movements. They are absolutely fine. For example, like a tricep press down on a cable machine, or a cable curl for biceps on a cable machine. They're absolutely fine to include, and you still will get results by doing just cables. But I do think there's a lot of benefit to doing free weighted movements, because also the balance element to it as well, that you have to use your core a lot more to balance with it, like with a back squat, and you'll just be able to engage more muscle groups and work more muscle groups with one movement rather than just strictly isolating one. And then also with compound movements, varying your rep ranges, so trying some heavier weights for low repetitions and some slightly lighter weights for high repetitions, but trying to stick between 1 to 15 reps, in my opinion. This is for somebody who's new to the gym, but also if you've been to the gym for a while, this is also going to apply to you because you may not have thought about these 10 tips before. My second tip, I'd recommend using knee sleeves for squatting. And some people straight away might be like, Albert, you don't need to use equipment, for example, like straps, which we're going to talk about in a minute, or knee sleeves, because you're going to become reliant on it. But I've always found I don't use a tight knee sleeve. It's just a knee sleeve that hugs the knees, and I find it helps to keep my knees warm. And I don't get knee problems at all, but I've always found that having a knee sleeve and having the knees warm it's just meant that my journey with squatting, it's been very pleasant, just because I had knee pain more in the beginning because I was still discovering kind of what worked for me, but I've found over the last 5 to 6 years that knee sleeves, a slightly loose one covering the knee, has been really helpful. So I would recommend a knee sleeve. Wear it with squatting, wear it for lunges or something, and other leg movements, but you don't need to use it for a quad extension. It's mainly for leg movements that require knee flexion under quite a heavy load, like a lunge or a squat. So I'd recommend using a knee sleeve. You don't need to spend too much money on it. My third one, again, equipment, is a lifting strap. Again, people would disagree with me, but the reason I'm saying a lifting strap is because I find when you're trying to train back that the grip will fail before your back muscles do. So I mean, for example, like a lat pull down or a pull up, is if you're trying to get to 10 repetitions, you might find with a certain weight on the lat pull down that your not able to do a certain weight because your grip fails first. But then if you use straps, you're able to fatigue your lats better because your grip is not having to be a limiting factor. But what I'd recommend for a beginner is to try some back workouts with a lifting strap and then some back workouts without lifting straps, because you don't want to become completely reliant on straps, but just be disciplined to try some back workouts with it and some back workouts without, because you want to still build up your forearms and your grip, but you just don't need to be using lifting straps all the time. Just use them sometimes so you can really work your back muscles, and some workouts work your back muscles but also improve your grip and your bicep strength. My fourth tip is be disciplined with rest times in the gym. Now, I know between exercises you have to walk around the gym and get to different machines, and that's absolutely fine. So you just have to do that as quick as you can. But when you're doing sets of exercises, I would try and stay as disciplined as you can, just because you normally only have 60 to 75 minutes in the gym, and I found that's helped me in the past. So say if I'm on a lat pull down and do 4 sets of 12, I do time the 60-second rest time in between sets if my rest time is 60 seconds. But then when I'm walking to the next machine or the next free weighted exercise, I just do that, as quick as I can, but I don't time it because sometimes obviously you bump into people in the gym, which is absolutely fine. And it just means otherwise sometimes you might just do a couple of exercises within the 75 minutes you have allotted for training, rather than being able to do maybe 5 or 6 different exercises if you keep to the rest times. Number 5 is I would recommend trying a lifting shoe. You can get them online, secondhand, very cheaply, because the raised heel I find really helps with being able to get to proper squat depth, so you can use your quads, hamstrings, and use knees, like the knee flexion, with proper biomechanics. Some people like to do squats with a flat shoe, which is absolutely fine, but normally people struggle to get to squat depth, and it's easier to get to squat depth by raising the heels. And you'll see that at the Olympics, the athletes there use Olympic lifting shoes, so with a raised heel, to be able to sit in the overhead squat or be able to perform a clean and jerk. And I talk about the overhead squat because they have to do the snatch as well. So a lifting shoe can really help just with being able to get proper depth on the squat, and that's going to teach you good habits that you're going to keep for the remaining time of your career of training. I just don't want you developing bad habits in the beginning that are going to be hard to break if you stick to bad habits for quite a long time before being corrected, if that makes sense. Tip number 6 is work on weaknesses often. Now, I'm talking about a person here who's done 11 years of training and is kind of only just learning that within the last couple of years. So if I'm talking in regards to my CrossFit training, strict handstand push-ups have been a struggle for me. And sometimes I've done them, then I haven't done them for a long time. I've done them for a bit, then haven't done them for a long time. Now I'm doing them every single day. And after being persistent and keeping on going, I am starting to get better. By working on weaknesses, work them from different angles as well. So for me, strict handstand push-ups, facing the wall, facing away from the wall, trying to keep on improving my handstand walking as well as strict overhead press and dumbbell press. All of that I feel has really helped towards improving my strict handstand push-ups, and they've improved a lot, but I'm still on that journey. So if we're talking about a weakness, say if your biceps are something that you want to improve, then doing a little bit of biceps, I would say, you don't have to do every single day like I do, but if you want to do, say 4 times a week, that's absolutely fine. So little and often, and just doing, say, 1 or 2 exercises at the end of each workout, using dumbbells, using barbells, using machines, lots of different ways to be able to stimulate the bicep. Number 7 is warm up well. I would always recommend getting on a piece of cardio for 5 minutes and doing something like 30 seconds fast, 30 seconds slow for 5 rounds, or you can do 30 seconds slow, 30 seconds moderate pace, and 30 seconds fast, and do that for 3 or 4 rounds, just so by the end you've got your heart rate up to a point that you've got a bit of a sweat on and blood is pumping around the body. Just because I always find the heart rate going up, my body temperature going up, and then blood going around the body is helping me to just get overall warm, but it gets my joints very limber and ready to do exercises. Because going into, say, a squat cold, I would not recommend. Being able to do a warm-up and then doing some warm-up sets as well with the exercises, very good idea. So hopefully, with the warm-up and the warm-up sets that you're doing on the exercise, that should be about 10 to 15 minutes in total. Tip number 8, higher frequency. So if you're only able to get into the gym 3 times a week, full body, that's absolutely fine. But if you are able to, I would say try and go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week, but keep the sessions shorter, because in my opinion, high frequency is much better. It's not much better in my opinion, but I do find frequent exposure is just a bit better than rather than doing, say, 2 days a week and then having gaps in between training, if that makes any sense. So rather than doing, say, an hour and a half 3 times a week, try 45 minutes in the gym 6 days a week. So it just means that your body's frequently having stimulus and having to adapt, and you're just able to attack the body parts frequently. Even if you're doing, say, one muscle group every single workout, you're doing full body, or what you could do is like full body, upper, lower, full body, upper, lower, 6 days a week. Just keep experimenting with your training and what you find works best for you. Number 9, coffee and high sugar with slow release before. And that's just the little sentence that I've put down on my phone. But what I mean is that if you want to optimise your training, if you can, I'd recommend 2 to 3 hours before having a complex carbohydrate such as, brown rice, whole wheat pasta, or some brown bread, and having that, or brown rice or something, or white rice, and then having that with some lean protein such as chicken breast or something, and some vegetables. Then, quite close towards training, say half an hour before, 20 minutes before, having a coffee, and then something with a high amount of sugar, but not many calories. So something like, banana, or I find some just low-calorie sweets are quite handy, just with that hit of energy. So you've got some slow release, some quick release, as well as the caffeine from the coffee, and I find that really helps. And I don't use pre-workout. I just find that's a good formula for me, and it works for me. Then number 10, have some fun with training. Do training that just allows you to have fun in the gym. So I'd recommend always doing high reps, lower weight, and then lower reps and higher weight stuff, but also incorporate stuff that's fun. That's why I started doing CrossFit myself, and I've just really enjoyed doing the Olympic lifting part of CrossFit and the gymnastics part. So do the normal stuff with training, like I was saying with the reps and the higher weights and stuff, or the lower weights and high reps, but then also include really fun stuff, and just keep changing it up from time to time with the fun stuff. You could try a bit of calisthenics, a bit of gymnastics, a bit of CrossFit, whatever floats your boat. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel. Please tell one person today about my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.